First of all, I am so sorry that it has taken me this long to finally create an intro video for my channel. I have been filming content for probably the last 8 months. I have such a backlog of videos that need to be edited and posted, and I will get there. I kind of decided to use Me Made May as my springboard to get my channel going, but I didn't want to post anything else until I had this very brief intro video about what I want to do with the channel, who I am, what I like to sew, yada, yada, yada. So to start off, let me just tell you that my timing is terrible. This is currently what I'm working with, and you will see at the end of this video, I have a sewing room tour that I actually filmed yesterday before I started really dismantling everything in my sewing space. I am moving shortly. I don't have an actual date right now, but I am moving within the next 2 months. Also, the house that I'm currently renting is 2-story, and the top story, the second story, which is where my sewing room is extremely hot in the summertime. And I'm in North Carolina in the US. We're coming into summer, and it is very, very hot here in the summer in central North Carolina. So I am going to be moving as much as I can downstairs to the first floor so that I don't have to keep spending a fortune on the AC to keep this room from cooking me alive. Let's see. I'm not a big fan of these super chatty videos, I will be honest with you. This is going to probably be my only really chatty video where I'm not actively sewing and trying to teach you something or show you something. I have a little bit of a teaching background. I love teaching, and I would teach sewing classes in real life if I could, if it was an option right now. Maybe when I move it will be a better option, but for the time being, I love teaching. I love sewing. I sew a lot. I sew probably every day. In some way, shape, or form, I'm usually sewing something every day. I also ordered a microphone. It is not compatible with my setup right now, so I hope the audio is okay. I promise that it will get better in the future because I am going to get a microphone that is actually compatible with what I have. So let me just start by saying hello, welcome, thank you for being here. I really hope to grow this channel and get a nice community of fellow sewists, or maybe new sewists, or people who just like watching sewing videos. What do I plan to do with this channel? Mostly sew-alongs. So I have a lot of sew-alongs that go back, like I said, about 8-9 months. I sew everything. I sew quilts, I've sewn bed sheets, I love sewing jackets and coats and blazers, and I love sewing trench coats. I like sewing things that are difficult and a little bit complicated because it just tickles my brain in the best way. And I have a lot of anxiety. I'm a very anxious person, and sewing just gets me in the zone and calms me down most of the time. So I am planning on doing some more complicated projects like that in the time that I have this channel going. Let's see, what else? My name is Corey. I've been sewing for 25 years. I am 100% self-taught. That is a long story that I will save for another time. But yeah, I've been sewing since I was a kid, and I basically my mom got me a really cheap machine. I kind of just told her, hey, I want to start sewing. She got me a $40 Singer sewing machine from Walmart that lasted me well into my 20s. And that's when I decided to upgrade to a $100 machine from Joann's, and that was my Singer patchwork that I actually sewed several quilts on it. It was great. And then I got more and more and more, I wanted to upgrade. I wanted to get a little more fancy. I wanted more of the bells and whistles. So I upgraded to a Janome, can't remember what I had, but it had pretty big space for quilting because I had started doing more quilting, and I really needed the space for free motion quilting. And the machine itself was a dud. Nothing against Janome. It was a used machine that had issues from the get-go that I should have just returned it and gotten something else, but I didn't want to deal with that, so I kept it for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, until I upgraded to my current machine, which is a FAF Creative 3.0. I have some stickers on here, which are adult stickers that I don't know if YouTube will be angry about, so I will not post them. I will not show them. I also have a Brother 1034D serger that is also amazing. Actually got it from a friend on Instagram who lives in Brooklyn in New York City. She just found it laying on the curb and was like, hey, I don't need this. I have one. If you pay for shipping, I'll send it to you. And it was awesome. And I love it. And I've had it since COVID era, pre-COVID era, a long time. And knock on wood, but I haven't had any issues with it. I have done my own maintenance on it and upgraded a few parts and changed a few parts. I've changed the blades a bunch of times and it's been great. I also had a cover lock machine that was also a FAF that I got online from, I think, Goodwill's website. They have like an auction website. And let's be honest, I had it for a while and it sat there. I haven't used it because I haven't wanted to actually sit down and figure out how to use it and like fix the tension and everything on it. I just didn't want to deal with it. I was really lazy. So it has been packed away. And another thing that I will hopefully work on after I move. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that might be helpful for you to know about me as I go into making this channel. I think I went off on a tangent when I was talking about what it is that I like to sew. When I started this video, I had plans to discuss everything in nice little segments so that I could add timestamps, but that's not really how my brain works. So I love to sew lingerie as well. I sew all of my own clothes. I don't think you can see it very well, but everything that I'm wearing today, everything that even you can't see, I have sewn myself. So I have on Lander, True Bias Landers, and I have some really fun, I don't think you can see it because the lighting stuff's in here, but I have some really fun embroidery on the pockets. And this is my favorite tank top pattern. This is the Ali Olsen Kira, I think it's Kira or Kiara. But anyway, yeah, it's just a really nice fitted basic tank top. I also sew a lot of lingerie. So I will just be honest when it comes to this channel. I am not going to be sewing anything for children, and I am going to be sewing a lot of bras, a lot of underwear, probably a lot of garters, a lot of matching sets. I might sew some more spicy things as I figure out what YouTube will allow. I've sewn a lot of spicy things. My Instagram is set to private and I do not accept any new friends unless they are non-straight male sewing friends. So most of my Instagram friends are people I either know in real life or are also fellow sewists, you know, or we have some other similar things in common. But I do not allow straight men on my Instagram page because I sew a lot of lingerie and I post it. So maybe that will get me in trouble by saying that. So let me just check my list and see what else I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about my style as far as what I'm sewing. I am currently unemployed. I lost my job last year. I've been a scientist my entire working adult life, except for a very brief period of time where I was working as a middle school teacher, and let's just say nicely, that is not the right career for me. I love teaching adults. I love teaching. I was teaching when I was in grad school, loved it. Love teaching undergrads. That's great. Teaching middle schoolers is not my bread and butter, not my thing. So as part of all of that, my current lifestyle is a lot of sewing. And generally, I live in a very warm climate. We do get cooler winters here, so I am mostly sewing for comfort, but also color. I love color. I love prints. I do wear a lot of white, mostly because it's hot out, and I'm trying to keep myself as cool as possible. So I am trying to move as much into using only natural fibers as possible. But I have a massive sewing stash, which you're not seeing here. You're seeing about 10% of my stash. I have a huge fabric stash. When I was working, I was purchasing a lot of fabric. And honestly, I'm really grateful that I did that, because I am not buying any fabric right now because I'm trying to save as much money as possible. So I have loads of fabric, and loads. I have more ideas than I have years of my life left. I could spend the rest of my life sewing up all the ideas that I have and probably wouldn't have enough time for it. So most of what I wear is very fitted. I do not like things that are boxy. I don't like things that are really baggy or super loose unless there's some belt or tie or something that's a little more fitted. I have about 9 inches of difference between my waist and my bust and my waist and my hips. So I have very much like an hourglass figure that needs the more fitted clothing to feel good in. Yeah, I want to feel good in my clothes. And I just don't look good in baggy stuff, so I don't sew that. I have a couple pet peeves as far as fashion items go. I do not like things that are asymmetrical. So you will never see me making something that is like one-shouldered, or if there's like a cutout on one side, I need the cutout on the other side. I don't know, it's just the thing that I have. And I don't like crop tops. I don't do crop tops. I also don't do uber high-waisted jeans. I also don't do uber low-waisted jeans, or pants in general. So those are just a couple things. I have a couple different alterations that I tend to have to make for almost all of my clothing. And I say all of this because I think one of the greatest things about the sewing community is finding people who have a similar body type to you, in which you can see how certain patterns will look on them and get an idea if it's going to also work for you. So that's kind of why I want to share. I'm not going to share my exact measurements or anything like that, but typically I have to do a couple different alterations. I tend to have narrow shoulders, so most of the time like things are kind of falling off my shoulders, so I tend to do narrow shoulder adjustments on some things. A lot of the coats and trench coats that I've made, I've had to do narrow shoulder adjustments on. And I also typically take things in at the waist. I usually, when I choose a pattern size, I choose it based on hips or bust and tweak from there. I also have no problem with going up a size and then just tailoring down, just to make sure that I'm not going to completely screw up the pattern and have it not be wearable at all. For pants, I kind of struggle to talk about this, but I think I have a little bit of a tilted pelvis, so usually I have to do some adjustments to the back of my pants, and I'll have to take them in at the waist a little bit in the back because I usually have some gaping, and I tend to have a little bit of excess fabric in the front. So I think it's called a flat pubic bone adjustment. So I usually have to do that. And depending on the pattern type, I usually have to lengthen the crotch length a little bit in the back. So if you have any of those similar anatomical things going on with you, then hey, we're going to do those for patterns going forward. Let me see what else. Okay. just a quick movement away from sewing for a second. I am a hobby collector. I recently learned to knit about 6 months ago, and I love it. Got really addicted to it right away, and I've been doing a lot of knitting. I also do some embroidery. I do some hand embroidery. My machine has an extra embroidery unit on it, which I will show you in my videos. That is just amazing. I love it. It was totally worth, you know, spending the money on at the time when I was working. And let's see what else. I love making candles. I've made some stained glass, taken some classes on that. That was really fun. And I know I have more. I kind of consider like being a jack of all trades with sewing to be multiple hobbies in and of itself, because I'm, you know, a quilter, lingerie sewist, apparel sewist, do a lot of home decor stuff for my mom. I'm always making curtains or pillows or blankets or something for her. And I'm also sewing a lot of clothes for my mom as well. And what else? I have bought kits for resin work, but I have not actually tried them yet. I've also done some fabric dyeing and tie dyeing and stuff as well. And I'm sure I'm missing some. I did learn to crochet, but it didn't stick for me quite like knitting did. So what else? Okay, so something that's a little sensitive, but I think really important to mention. I have pots, or dysautonomia, however you want to go with it. And that has made my life really difficult in some ways, but it's probably the reason that I sew as much as I do, because there's a lot of things that I can't do, having super limited energy, and I am very much a night owl. Because of my pots, I feel horrible in the morning. I can't really function for the first couple hours of the day beyond just sitting at a computer. So because of that, I would need to work from home as a job, and that's another thing that's made it really difficult for me to find a new job. And yeah, my last job, I worked from home for 5 years. I actually took fewer sick days than most of my coworkers. So that just goes to show you that accommodations for disabled folks are everything. I will probably do another chatty video about pots and kind of my story with it sometime in the future. I might do some lifestyle type of videos, but I want to focus mostly on sewing. I can't believe I also didn't mention that I'm a huge crazy plant lady. I have many, 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 many very large plants at this point, which is just going to be a blast moving. So I think I've chatted enough. I will definitely be talking about my dog Moose. He's my boy. He's my whole world. He's everything. And he's my companion. He's always there with me. And you will definitely see him moving around in my videos. Let's see. The last thing I wanted to mention is, I think, just my channel name. So where did Moondust Atelier come from? When I was a little kid, I always had these ideas of starting my own salon, and I kind of had this goofy little salon thing I would do for my mom and my little brother, where I would, you know, I'd give my mom a facial, or I would like massage my little brother's hands and his shoulders, and it would be like, oh, come to the salon, and you know, I will pamper you or whatever. And I called it Moondust Salon. I also made my own like natural cosmetics and beauty products, and that was also called Moondust Cosmetics and Beauty or something like that. So the Moondust moniker has always kind of stuck with me. Also, my favorite band is Starset, and they are a rock band that does a lot of space related music. So the Moondust thing kind of fit. And yeah, I'm not really sure what else I can answer for you right now. Like I said, everything is very chaotic, to put it nicely. And I'm going to do my best to keep sewing. I have a lot, like I said, I have a lot of backlog sewing projects that have already been completed or just need like a little bit. So I'm not going to gab anymore. I've already talked your ear off enough. If you have any questions, I am happy to answer them. I'm so excited about this. I've been wanting to do this for so long, and let's see how it goes. Let's see how many things I can sew up and share with you before I have to move. So if you have any questions, if you want to tell me something fun about yourself, tell me what you like to sew, tell me what you want to see, go for it. I'm all ears. Okay, bye. Oh, wait, before I go, after this video, I will be giving you my sewing room tour before I really started putting everything away. So there's that, and then I will continue posting for Me Made May. Bye, thanks for being here. This is definitely the worst time for me to give you a tour of my sewing room, but I'm going to because I have had the absolute pleasure of sewing in this giant room for the last 3 years, and I am so lucky that I got to do it. But I am moving, and I have been focusing on packing stuff and moving stuff around in here. So it's a mess right now, but I think you'll get the idea, and I'm going to try not to be too chatty about this. But basically, you come in here, that is the big pile of fabric that I am donating, and I have over here my little separate station. I have my overlocker, which I honestly have not used yet. I bought it online, and I never took the time to really figure out how to use it. So it's getting packed up. I have all of my buttons and snaps in here, my zippers divided by zipper type. I have some in pint glasses and some in this box that is from the Joann's clearance days. May she rest in peace. Some washi tape. I have all of my, I have some hook and eyes, some clips, some snaps, and more hardware. Also more hardware in here. This is all my bra hardware. So I've got a lot of rings and sliders. I've got some of that really cool, I don't know if anybody remembers or has purchased from Madeline Intimates before, but she had some really unique hardware, I want to say 2 years ago for Christmas. And I have some more different types of hardware in there. Fabric shaver, fabric scrap bin, random fabric storage that has not been gone through in several years and needs to be, but probably won't be until after I move. I have a quilt that is just about done. As you can see, this is the outside, and it's about half sewn up on the outside, but the whole inner portion is done. Anyway, I'm being too chatty again. This is my actually not in horrible shape cutting table. I am working on, this will be another separate video most likely, depending on how it comes out. I am making my own shorts sloper, basically my own block for shorts patterns because I have had such a hard time with fitting shorts. And the blazer that will hopefully get done soon because the instructions are absolutely horrendous. Worst instructions I have ever read in my life. So much so that it's making Moose very concerned. A couple in progress things here. Probably will be making bras pretty soon out of these two, so stay tuned for that. Okay, my fabric stash. You know what? I used to be embarrassed by my massive fabric stash, but I am not anymore because I am not buying any new fabric, and I have enough fabric to make anything to my heart's desire, truly. And I have been completely cured of the desire to buy any new fabric. So, like I said, I am packing right now. So normally all of these shelves are full of fabric that is very well organized. And right now it's getting packed into boxes. So it's on the floor because I need to start breaking down these cubitainer or cube stack cubes organizer things, shelves. And then this was kind of my overflow rack. I also have some more crafty things up there. Like I said, I am one of those hobby collectors. So I'm very into candle making. I make a lot of my candles. I store a lot of my candle making supplies in this box. if you want to get into candle making, highly recommend Candle Science. They're amazing. I have some extra wax here. I have some extra yarn back here, and I have a whole bunch of stuff for resin work, which I haven't gotten into, but I have all the supplies for it. I was storing some bra making laces in there and a bunch of quilting cotton fat quarters in here. And I've just got fabric that I had gotten a lot of. I had kept stored on the bolts, which are also from Joann's. And this is my bra making supply bin, basically. I have non-stretch bra making fabric here for typically linings. And, oh, Moose found some scrap paper to go shred. And then I have all of my stretch fabric here for, you know, like typically for bands. So lots of power net, power mesh, you know, stretch mesh, anything that's stretchy goes in there. I have some patterns up here. I have some patterns down here. Generally, I keep the patterns I use most up here that come in actual envelopes or ones that I am planning to try soon. And then I have more bra making supplies here. I have a lot of my bra making underwire and some more elastics and like specialty items up here, like specialty trims and things like that, and hooks and eyes. And I keep my fold over elastics in here. I keep all of my specialty bra making elastics in here, so anything that you can see, like different types of picot and whatnot. And then I have rubber elastic in here and apparel elastic in here. I told you I sew everything, so I also have supplies for everything. I have my binder of different bra patterns here. I believe there's also underwear and corsets in there. And this whole section was just for swimwear and lace, but it's getting packed right now. Are you eating? Don't eat the paper, Moose. I have all of my cutting supplies, everything like pattern weights, and this is my paper only rotary cutter. I keep some, I don't know how well you can see because I know it's kind of dark. The lighting also sucks in here. My mom rescued some of these really nice smooth river stones from a place she used to live in the mountains that had a little stream running through it. This was just for quilting and winter fabrics, like coating fabric specifically. Like I said, I sew everything. I love sewing trench coats and heavy winter coats. And here's my other binder of patterns. This is for swimwear, bags, and some quilt patterns. And let's see, I think the last thing to go over is, that's some more fabric that's getting stored, is the patterns. So I have all of my larger patterns here, mostly apparel patterns that don't fit in the binder. I don't think I have much of any apparel fabric or apparel patterns in my binders. I have everything organized by type, so everything in here is just sweaters, coats, blazers, jackets, hoodies. Then I have bottoms of any kind, shorts, pants, skirts, whatever it is goes here. I have a couple swimwear patterns here, basically the one pieces that won't fit in my binders. And then I have all of my tops and dresses organized by most used top patterns first, and then tops, just regular tops, and then tops that can also be dresses and vice versa. And then at the end I have dresses and like the bigger patterns like maxi dresses and full skirt patterns and things like that. And my ironing board section, I have one more big cutting board that I keep over here for when I need to cut on the floor. I have some bra making kits that I started storing in here. So that is my giant fabric room / sewing room studio. And because this video wasn't long enough already, this is my current setup downstairs, my very, very reduced, compressed workspace that is, again, as usual, total chaos. I'm just working on finishing up this Finley thong to match with this gorgeous salon bra that I made, and I still need to photograph. And I actually finished that in May, so that will be going into my Me Made May video. And yeah, it's chaos right now. I can't wait to move, honestly, just to get my new sewing room set up. Thank you so much for being here with me and just celebrating and getting my channel going. I'm super excited to see where it goes. Right, Moose? Okay, bye everyone. Say bye.